Tonight, killers on the run in the city of Birmingham. 21 people shot, many more lives changed forever.
People just laid out on the sidewalk, and with the smoke of the guns wavering over the sidewalk. It literally looks like a war scene.
What we know about the 4 people killed during a night of fun and the lasting impact of violence in our communities.
It's really scared us. It's really, really hard. And I don't know, people will come again here or not.
Plus, WVTM 13 investigates the tools police use to help solve crimes, just like this one. Our live team coverage of the mass shooting in 5 Points continues right now.
WVTM 13 News begins with breaking news.
Flowers in 5 Points tonight as the community mourns the lives of 4 people killed in a deadly shooting.
Tonight, police released the names of 3 of the victims: Anitra Holloman, Taj Booker, and Carlos McCain. The 4th victim is also an adult, but he has not been identified yet.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Sherry Falk. We're learning new information about last night's deadly shooting. It happened just after 11 in the middle of the 5 Points South Entertainment District, leaving 4 dead and 17 others hurt.
Here's a look at what police say so far. A group of shooters jumped out of a car, opened fire outside the Hush Hookah Lounge and Hookah and Cigar Lounge. The gunmen are still on the run. Investigators believe the shooting was a hit job and say the person targeted was killed. In all, police say the killers fired 100 rounds of ammo. Well, police need your help tonight. At the bottom of your screen, a QR code. You can scan it to give police any information that helps them arrest the gunman in this case.
And we want to continue our team coverage with WVTM 13's Gladys Bautista, live and local in Birmingham tonight. Gladys, you spoke with someone who was caught in the crossfire last night.
Yeah, Guy and Sherry, it was homecoming and alumni weekend for so many high schools throughout our area, and that's exactly why Gabriel Islami was here in the 5 Points South area with his friends. He says it was pretty much like a high school reunion, but it was a trip here to this lounge that almost cost him his life.
People just laid out on the sidewalk, and with the smoke of the guns wavering over the sidewalk. It literally looks like a war scene.
A war scene in front of a popular Birmingham nightclub on Magnolia Avenue in what would be a deadly Saturday night in 5 Points South. Police say multiple shooters opened fire into a crowd standing outside around 11, hitting 17 people in total. Gabriel Islami speaking to us from his bed as he now recovers after a bullet tore through his buttocks while he was running away.
Initially, I thought they were like shooting up the front of the line, because that's where they were, in the front. They were shooting down the line, because I was in the very back.
But others didn't get the chance to run for cover. 21-year-old Anitra Holloman, Taj Booker, and Carlos McCain, both 27, were pronounced dead at the scene. A 4th man died at the hospital. 4 others are in critical condition. Islami describes the terror in the moment.
When the shots rang out, I ran. And within 2 seconds of me running, I couldn't feel my leg. And I just fall. And it didn't even dawn on me that I had gotten shot. My first thought was, I can't get shot again. So I picked myself up. I kind of turned back and looked back. And I almost wish I hadn't. There's just bodies on the sidewalk, shoes everywhere, accessories, wallets, phones, and then just a gunshot smoke.
And in the aftermath, a realization of what had just happened.
People running in every direction still. It was just pure chaos. And I'm sitting there in that chair trying to use my shirt as a tourniquet, trying to stop the bleeding for a little bit.
Islami says his friend rushed him to the hospital where he learned from doctors the bullet went into his buttocks and out of his thigh, just millimeters from a major artery.
It's scary knowing how close I was to dying.
Now recovering at home, he looks back at last night and the carnage, thankful but still filled with sadness.
I wondered to myself, like, why me and why not somebody else who passed away?
And tonight, flowers and a single candle here outside of Hush Lounge where this shooting took place. Police believe at this moment that all of this stemmed from a murder for hire, and that right now investigators believe the target of that is among those that are dead. Still, no one is in custody. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers. We're live in 5 Point South for you tonight. I'm Gladys Bautista, WVTM 13.
Do not tell me this is not solvable. And at the same time, do not tell me this is only on the police to solve. Elected officials, locally, statewide, and nationally have a duty to solve this American crisis, this American epidemic of gun violence.
Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin very vocal about the need to get illegal weapons off the streets. Police believes Glock switches were used during the tragic shooting, giving gunmen the ability to switch between a semi-automatic weapon or fully automatic ones. That's why BPD launched Operation Flip the Switch, which makes carrying one of these guns illegal. Mayor Woodfin calling for offenders to spend at least 10 years in federal prison.
We should not allow people to just ride around with any style type of weapon that doesn't even belong on domestic streets. It should not be allowable, period. I don't care what your politics are.
But this all comes as Central Alabama Crime Stoppers continues to work to get guns off the streets. The organization held their gun buyback event at a Montgomery church on Saturday. Residents could turn in their firearms, no questions asked.
Normally, criminals, when they get a gun, they break into your house, they break into your car, and they normally get the guns that are not being used. So we're trying to eliminate that by, if you're not a gun user and you just got donated a gun, given a gun, and it's just at home, we're asking you to donate that gun to us, or we'll purchase that gun from you.
Officials say more than 100 firearms were turned in within 2.5 hours of the event.
Back here in Birmingham, the 5 Point South community continues to search for answers as to why this shooting happened. WVTM 13's Bryce Oselin spoke to business owners who were concerned about how it will affect the area moving forward.
Normally, this restaurant would be filled with people coming in and out of the door. I spoke with one local business owner who says that the mass shooting is affecting his pockets.
It's very sad to see this happen very next to our business, and it does impact our business.
Pintu Surma is the general manager of Bayleaf in 5 Points. Surma says business is normally booming on the weekends, but after recent events,
We have like more than 16 reservations got canceled today. I got so many calls from so many people asking us we're okay or not, and I don't know what's wrong with this place.
authorities continue their investigation. Surma says his community just doesn't feel like home anymore.
It used to be very nice before, like 2-3 years back. It was beautiful, it's very nice. Business was very good, but right now, I would say hellhole.
In Birmingham, Bryce Oselin, WVTM 13.
We asked police if ShotSpotter played a role in the investigation into last night's shooting, and they tell us there are no ShotSpotters in that area.
Still, city leaders tout the system as a crucial crime-fighting tool, but some of the nation's largest cities question the technology's accuracy or dropping the service altogether. Tonight, WVTM 13's John Papke investigates the value of Birmingham's gunfire tracking investment.
When a shooter littered 5th Street South with 24 shell casings last week, Birmingham's gunfire detection system triangulated the exact spot within a couple of feet. Lawrence Billups first came to work for Birmingham PD in the early 1990s. Back then, pinpointing gunfire was a little less exact.
If you heard it, you hear it, but you couldn't pinpoint where it was because it echoed, and so you would just be riding around.
Could be half a mile away.
You can be a half a mile away.
That all changed in 2007 when Birmingham hired a company called ShotSpotter. Its sensors use sonar technology to track gunfire in select neighborhoods. 17 years later, the system's coverage area has more than tripled in the city.
How is ShotSpotter making Birmingham streets safer?
It allows you to get to the area where the situation is taking place quicker.
But not everybody is a big fan. Some of the nation's largest cities are questioning the system's law enforcement value. In June, New York City's comptroller released an audit criticizing ShotSpotter's accuracy. During the sampled months of review in 2022 and 2023, ShotSpotter alerts only resulted in confirmed shootings between 8% and 20% of the time. ShotSpotter pushed back, touting a 90% accuracy rate, and that the comptroller's methods of verifying gunshots are more suited for an episode of Law & Order than they are for the realities of policing. But on top of the New York report, mayors in Chicago and Houston plan to dump the service.
Should Birmingham do the same?
No. It's a necessary piece of equipment that we need.
Based on our research, since 2007, the city of Birmingham has spent more than $9 million on ShotSpotter sensors like this, including nearly $1 million a year under the current contract. But fatal gun violence in the city has skyrocketed.
Since 2019, Birmingham police have investigated nearly 800 murders. With deadly numbers like that, is the high-tech crime-fighting tool really worth the investment?
I don't think that ShotSpotter was ever made to solve homicides. I think that it's made to alert the police department about a location of either gunfire going off or something else happening like fireworks.
It's well worth the money. We've been able to catch people in the act of shooting.
To try and demonstrate the technology's effectiveness, we did request records of any arrests or gun confiscations linked to ShotSpotter dispatches in Birmingham. We were told BPD does not track that kind of data, but it does use the system to decide where to place resources and to solve investigations. Billups insists the city's finest rely on it to avoid wasting time on gunfire wild goose chases.
The officers out here are loving it because, like I said, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of trying to find out where the shots are coming from.
When officers quickly arrived at this 5th Street South scene, they did not find a victim and the shooter was already gone. In Birmingham, John Papke, WVTM 13, investigates.